Hello, what is up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I'm financial coach Jess, and in this video I am going over my favorite ways to invest $100. And I chose the $100 amount because it's very realistic to every single person that watches this video. I think people get hung up on the fact that they can't invest thousands of dollars in themselves. They can't invest thousands of dollars in their retirement. They can't buy expensive programs or courses. And so they just kind of write off investing in themselves at all. And that's not how this works. I am finding time and time again that investing in yourself is such a mindset. And when you get your mindset right and you're not worried about getting the cheapest thing all the time, it's like working a muscle. You can eventually work up to investing thousands of dollars in yourself, but before you do that, you've got to start small. Start with $100. Invest that $100 into yourself and turn it into several $100s. Turn that several $100s into a couple $1,000, and then invest that $1,000 into a course or a program or my Become a Coach program, and you can use this information to now build a business that generates six figures, multiple six figures, even seven figures, and increasing your streams of income. But it all starts with that first $100. And here's 4 ways to invest $100 into yourself. And the first way is books. And I can see you rolling your eyes right now. I know you're rolling your eyes, but guys, do not sleep on this. Books are so important. And if you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I don't have time to read, or oh, I hate reading, here's some tough love for you. This probably isn't the right video for you, and this probably isn't even the right channel for you. If this is where your limited mindset starts and that growth mindset that's so important stops, there's nothing in this video that I can say, there's nothing that I can do that's really gonna make a difference for you. On the other hand, if your reaction is, okay, I'm willing to give this a try, then you're in the right place. When I was 15 years old, I went to a 4-day conference called Student Leadership University 101. And this event absolutely changed my life. And there's very few things that I can specifically point to in my life and say, my life changed as a result of this event. And SLU 101 was definitely one of those things. One of the items on my ultimate bucket list is to be invited to be a speaker at this conference one day. And at this conference, a big theme of theirs is leaders are readers. They drilled that into us over and over again. But what I love is they didn't just tell us to read, they gave us some amazing resources and amazing books to really dive into. And so that's what I want to do here with you. But first, you've got to accept that leaders are readers. If you want to live an extraordinary life, if you want to influence others, you read. That's the only equation. Now, I want to take some time and really show you a few books that I have made a great return on investment with. Because remember, we're not just spending $100 to spend it, we are investing it. We want a return on that investment. So here are 3 books that I've had a great ROI with recently. First up is Tax-Free Wealth. And I read this book in like January of 2021, and it was absolutely amazing. His big focus is legally avoiding tax within small businesses and real estate. And this was exactly the 2 camps that I was looking into. And so it was perfect for me. After totaling up all the changes that we've made in order to minimize the tax that we will pay next year, I believe this book will save us about $3,000 in taxes. And that's just 1 year. Of course, the cost of the book is between $15 and $20, and it's going to save us $3,000 in taxes just for 1 year. The return on investment for that is absolutely insane. Now, it's not immediate. The second I closed the book, no one came and handed me $3,000. And it's not without some effort too. There are some changes that we have to make in terms of how we allocate money within the business. But over our lifetime, this $15, $20 investment is going to save us and basically make us tens of thousands of dollars. Absolutely love that book. Highly, highly recommend. The second book that I have gotten a great return on investment from is Ramit Sethi's I Will Teach You to Be Rich. And I actually read this book as a result of firing my financial advisor that I had been listening to since I was about 22 years old. And they were really bad. They actually gave me horrible advice, like the worst advice you could possibly give a 22-year-old. After I quit my job, I pulled all my investments, which was like a grand total of $2,000, I think, and I had no idea what to do with it. So I read his book, and that was the best decision ever. In terms of using this book for understanding investments, expense ratios, index funds, mutual funds, target date index funds, Roth IRA, 401k, the ROI, if I were to put an ROI on this book, it would be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of my lifetime. Like I said, I got some really, really bad investing advice when I was 22 years old, and I followed that advice until I left my job at age 26. I literally lost some of my best investing years. But instead of just sitting back and blaming her for my woes and screaming injustice for the rest of my life, instead I forgave and I turned around, and now I'm helping other people understand their investments and understand their options and opportunities so that they don't blindly just say yes to every single advisor they talk to without knowing exactly what they're investing in. When I was 27 years old, I went and I opened a Roth IRA all by myself, maxed it out. That is exactly what I want you to do. Well, not open a Roth and max it out. Well, I do want you to open a Roth and max it out, but I'm not giving you investment advice. What I want you to do is to take control, take personal responsibility, and be accountable for the future of your personal finances. For so long, I was just relying on someone else to tell me what to do, to tell me how to invest. I didn't understand it at all. And that might be you. You might be relying completely 100% on someone else, maybe that you barely know, to tell you about the future of your money. And that's a very scary place to be. I want you to take control of your personal finance. And maybe you made a mistake and that caused you to fall behind, or maybe someone else messed up and that caused you to fall behind. It doesn't affect anyone else if you stay sad and broke and complain. It only affects you. And that is where this victim mentality leads. And I don't want that for you. I want you to take control, take responsibility. Highly, highly recommend this book. Book number 3 is called Passive Income Aggressive Retirement. And I actually stumbled upon Rachel's Instagram sometime in 2020. And I'm so glad I did, because I bought her book and it was amazing. Rachel makes a very strong case against the nest egg mentality of just save and save and invest and then hope that someday that's enough for retirement. Rachel does a great job of running the numbers, and she makes a case that says millennials that want to retire in their 60s, it's going to be very difficult for them to do with just the nest egg mentality, because people are living so long. If you want to retire in your 60s, but you're living until you're 80 or 90 years old, you have got to have decades worth of retirement saved up. And this all leads to basically her solution of passive income is not just a luxury, but it's actually a necessity. She then gives extremely practical examples on how to generate passive income and retire early if that's your goal. This book really helped me solidify my goals and give me some ideas when it comes to generating passive income. I'm currently about to cross the $50,000 mark for generating passive income. And that has all been through affiliate income, my course, as well as YouTube AdSense. And I don't have an exact ROI from the book and what has manifested. But I will say that I do credit this book for helping me understand and truly believe that passive income is attainable. 3 insanely powerful books that I have had a crazy return on investment from. But that's also just how I view books. They are investments. I invest my time, energy, and a little bit of money now in order to get huge payoffs later. I truly believe that people don't understand, or maybe they just don't believe that books truly can be an investment because they only see the time that it costs them now instead of the payoff that they'll get in the future. Idea number 2 is to bootstrap a side hustle. Now, one of my most favorite things on Shark Tank is when Mark Cuban asked the entrepreneur how they got started in the business and if they have any debt on the company. And the entrepreneur's like, we have no debt on the company. We bootstrapped it from the ground up. I started in my grandma's basement with a $15 sewing machine and blah, blah, blah. And now we make millions and millions. And Mark Cuban doesn't say anything. He just stands up and starts clapping. And I'm like, yeah. Anyway, and that could be you. Mark Cuban could be applauding for you. And it doesn't have to be necessarily a product like on Shark Tank. It could be any business. It could be a service-based business. You could be selling other things like taking that $100 and buying the first round of ingredients for donuts or cinnamon rolls and then posting on social media that you're selling these. Around holidays or special occasions, I've also seen great side hustles that are cookie decorating kits or decorated cookies that are created and then sold. And again, the first round of ingredients is really the only initial investment that you need. Another side hustle that you could bootstrap would be creating homemade natural soaps or beauty products. A lot of big beauty companies start this way. They are handmade at first. And this works out well because you can be really meticulous on everything that goes into your product. A cleaning service would require startup product and drive time, but could be very profitable. A virtual assistant business has very little startup costs and is very profitable, and I talk all about that in this video here. In-home childcare would require gas and some miscellaneous costs, but would be very steady income. A laundry service would also have repeat customers. There's literally so many that I could just sit here and list stuff off for the next 10 minutes. $100 is more than enough to start a profitable side hustle from the ground up. Idea number 3 is to flip items. And this one is near and dear to my heart because Ethan and I used to flip items all the time. Some of our favorite items to flip would be, number 1, wood furniture. This is great if you have a truck or bigger vehicle to move big, bulky items. Always go for real wood because you can simply sand it, stain it, or repaint it, and it'll go for top dollar as opposed to something like particle board. Another pro is that a lot of times people just want to get rid of big, bulky wood furniture, especially older individuals. It's heavy, it's big, they just can't do a whole lot with it. Another item that's really great and easy to flip are tools, especially if it's an easy fix. But most of the time, if you clean them up, if you do a little bit of maintenance, good brands are going to hold their value for a long time. A third category that we absolutely loved flipping is the free section on Craigslist. Now keep in mind, lower risk, lower reward typically, but there was a couple times that we just absolutely hit the jackpot on Craigslist free, and we were able to get a ton of great stuff and then resell it individually on places like Facebook Marketplace. Moving on to the 4th way that you can invest in your future self is, of course, through retirement. And I think everyone watching this video knows you would get a great return on investment if you invested that $100 into retirement. But investing in retirement, what does that look like? A lot of people are going to hear that and think, there's just too many options. What if I do the wrong thing? And this decision paralysis is going to absolutely freeze them and they're not going to make a decision at all. Generally speaking, and you can Google this anywhere, I've put these investments into a sense of hierarchy based on the rate of return due to the tax implications of each account. So you can look this up yourself anywhere, but I find it very helpful to have a hierarchy list when it comes to where will my money go the furthest? Keep in mind, as always, this is not investing advice. Make sure you do your own research and know what you're investing in. And number one is going to be investing up to your employer match. When your employer matches the money that you put toward investment, that automatically doubles your money right then and there. And then you get the market growth on top of that. Nowhere else doubles your money like this. This should always pretty much be your top priority when looking at where do I invest my money. If you have an employer match, I would definitely do that first. Unfortunately, I don't have that option, so I would move on to option number 2, which is the HSA. This one is definitely not as well known as the 401k match, but the HSA does actually have a triple tax benefit. So what this means, when you put the money into the HSA, when you invest it, it can go in tax-free. When the money grows, it also grows tax-free within the investment. And then when you take the money out to spend it on medical expenses, the money is also, you guessed it, tax-free. And after the age of 65, you no longer have to spend that money on medical expenses. You can spend it on anything after the age of 65. The triple tax benefit of the HSA puts it right up there with the 401k match. I unfortunately don't have the opportunity to invest in either one of those, so I would move on to option number 3, which is the Roth IRA. The advantage of the Roth IRA is that the money is not taxed when you take the money out in retirement. The money can grow tax-free, which makes it a very valuable asset in terms of investing for retirement. After you've maxed out the Roth IRA, it is usually advised to go back and finish maxing out either your 401k after the match or your 403b. This hierarchy in terms of tax advantages and the employer match is a great framework to look at how far your money can go when investing for retirement. As far as what to invest within those accounts, definitely make sure you check out this video here. If you got value out of this video today, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for the YouTube algorithm, and I'll see you guys in the next video.